She's been played by actresses like Kathy Bates and Debbie Reynolds in blockbuster movies, and her character is, well, quite a character. But the movies and many books and articles don't say that much about Molly Brown that is true.
In fact, many facts about Molly Brown's life are just made up, and her real life was amazing. She wasn't just unsinkable, she was smart and incredibly lucky. Here's a quick look at the real Molly Brown.
Let's dig into this.
She wasn't born in a tin shack during a tornado like some writers have claimed. She wasn't illiterate, and Mark Twain never saved her from drowning. She wasn't a saloon girl either, and she was never called Molly.
She was born Margaret Tobin, July 18th, 1867, in Hannibal, Missouri, one of six children to a poor family that lived in a four-room cabin not far from the Mississippi River. Many children, girls especially, only went to school for a few years to learn the basics. But Molly was lucky. She had an aunt who taught in a private school, and Molly completed the full 8 grades available. She was an educated girl for her time.
After finishing school at age 13, Molly went to work at the Garth Tobacco Factory, probably stripping tobacco leaves. She didn't grow up playing with Mark Twain. He was 30 years older than Molly and had left town years before she was born.
The Molly Brown House Museum claims records of Molly working as a waitress at the Park Hotel in Hannibal and meeting Mark Twain there exist, but we have not been able to verify this. Whatever the truth of that story, she certainly was not a saloon girl. She would later support prohibition.
After spending 5 years doing hard factory work and watching her parents struggle to support their large family, she decided she was going to marry a man who had money.
So, when she was 18, she jumped on the opportunity to move to Leadville, Colorado, where her brother and stepsister were living. She found a job as a seamstress at the local dry goods store, and she met James Joseph J.J. Brown and fell in love.
And no one called her Molly until a reporter started the nickname after her death. She was called Maggie by those closest to her, and Margaret by everyone else.
Molly has said she wanted to marry a man rich enough to help make her parents' life easy. And the problem with falling in love with J.J. Brown was he wasn't rich at all. But Molly later said she decided that marrying a man for love was better than marrying a man she didn't love just for money. Molly and J.J. married in 1886 and had a son and a daughter. They also took in 3 of their nieces.
In another stroke of Molly Brown luck, J.J. happened to be smart. He worked for the Ibex mining company Little Johnny Silver Mine and designed a system of shoring up mine shafts to prevent cave-ins. This came in handy when both copper and gold were found in the Little Johnny mine. Ibex rewarded J.J. Brown and made him very, very rich.
Back in the day, high society was divided into old or inherited money and new money. And old money looked down on new money. And there were unspoken rules in old money circles about manners and dress and who you did and did not mix with. Molly Brown was a rule breaker.
J.J. and Molly Brown had bought a mansion in Denver with their new wealth, and Denver society took notice of the outspoken woman with new money and new ideas. She was liked and respected, but she never broke into the elite Sacred 36 clique of the highest Denver society. But it didn't seem to bother her much. She was probably just too busy helping the city and its residents to care about tea parties and card games.
She had a talent for languages and learned to speak Italian, French, and German, and even a bit of Russian. She used her connections to raise money for the causes she supported, and she volunteered her time and rolled her sleeves up working in soup kitchens and providing for miners who were out of work and for their families.
She helped create the first animal shelter in Denver and the Denver Women's Club. She raised money to build a cathedral, expand a hospital, and create playgrounds. She fought for the rights of women and children, and with Judge Benjamin Lindsay, She helped create one of the first juvenile courts in the United States. She also ran for a seat in the Colorado Senate in 1914, years before women could even vote.
Molly and J.J. Brown's marriage suffered in Denver. Molly had always been outgoing and adventurous, while J.J. was quiet and preferred to be less socially involved. After 23 years of marriage, the couple separated in 1909, but they would never get a divorce and seemed to love and respect each other for the rest of their lives.
Molly loved to travel and was once again in Europe when she received word her grandson was dangerously ill. Desperate to get home, she bought a ticket on the first ship available. It happened to be the Titanic.
When the ship hit an iceberg late on April 15th, 1912, Molly was reading in bed. Eventually, she made her way up the ship's deck, helping other passengers get into lifeboats until she said two men practically threw her into Lifeboat 6. It was able to carry 65 passengers, but the pilot ordered it be lowered to only 20 women and 3 men on board. Molly Brown was not happy.
The pilot, Quartermaster Robert Hitchens, refused to row the boat or save passengers in the water, despite Molly begging. Only the 3 men on the boat were rowing, so Molly picked up an oar and pitched in. Hitchens was extremely upset when Molly told the women on the boat to help row, to literally keep them from freezing. Molly got so mad she threatened to throw him overboard, but she didn't point a pistol at him like many reports said. She and the men on board were able to scoop one survivor out of the water, saving him from a certain death. Molly gave the man her coat.
After the passengers of Lifeboat 6 were rescued by the Carpathia, Molly's language skills helped her calm passengers and help medical personnel understand their needs. She distributed blankets and food, and she brought first class passengers together to form a committee to give money to secure basic necessities for second and third class passengers. Many had lost everything when the ship sank.
Molly Brown became famous all over the world for her heroic actions during the Titanic disaster as the Unsinkable Mrs. Brown.
Molly Brown would continue her activism and volunteer until the end of her life. She worked with the Red Cross in World War I and went to France to work with the American Committee for Devastated France. She loved the theater and after the war decided to become an actress.
When her husband died in 1922, after 36 years of marriage, she said she had never met a more worthwhile man than J.J. Brown. Molly died in her sleep at the Barbizon Hotel in New York on October 26, 1932. She was 65 years old. An autopsy showed she died of a brain tumor. She's buried next to her husband, J.J., in Westbury, New York.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we'll see you on the next one. Hey, here's another Dragon Den video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.